Well, a very good morning to you. Thank you for joining us right here on the Great Big Indian Wellness Show. And once again, a huge understanding that we've just got from the in the true essence of yoga with Anand Parekh and also Sarita Thakrar as well. We now have a much better understanding of yoga. Thank you both very much indeed. It's all about the Great Big Indian Wellness Show, and we've had some really good insights and a brilliant start to the Great Big Indian Wellness Show right here on iGlobal. Let me just remind you that iGlobal is the voice of global Indians, where the Indian diaspora gets seen and heard, and also the news, the views, the lifestyles, and entertainment network for global Indians. Also, don't forget to log on to iglobalnews.com for all the action. And the Wellness Show is the biggest and best health and well-being on one platform. It's wellness insights for the modern British Indian, and also learning from the masters of health and well-being as well. So thank you for being with us here this morning, right here on the Great Big Indian Wellness Show. And make sure you also get interactive with us right here on our social media as well, which is iWellness Show. Okay, the hashtag iWellness Show. And now in our next masterclass right here on the Great Big Indian Wellness Show, we talk about a journey to explore within. Any change, any transformation starts from within. So it's important to explore the journey one must take to make that change, to maintain high energy and alert levels throughout the day. It improves our communication professionally and also at home as well, and also enhance mental clarity, emotional balance, and productivity too. So let's catch up with Arundhati Rajesh and Bhavna Bharat.
Hello and good morning. Thank you, Tony, for that wonderful introduction. Welcome to the Great Big Indian Wellness Show. I am Bhavna Bharat, and today we are going to be talking to Arundhati Rajesh about the journey to explore within. And Tony has already given us this incredible introduction about why we need to make any changes, any transformations from within. Arundhati is an inner engineering teacher with the Isha Foundation. We're really, privileged to have her here today. She has been working with the Isha Foundation for a very long time, since 2010, I believe, Arundhati. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you for joining us today. This is a really interesting discussion because a lot of people are on that journey to heal or journey to find themselves. There's a lot of programs nowadays about healing your inner child or, things that people go throughout their lives. So tell us a little bit more about why there is this need for this journey. Why is the need this journey to explore within? Where is it coming from? Why do people want to do it?
So thank you all so much for having me here. It's really wonderful to be a part of this conversation. Before we talk about why the need for the journey, we can even just look at what we even mean by within. That itself can be quite a conundrum for people. So if you see what's happening on the outside is very, very clear for us, right? We have spent so much time engineering the world around us. Today we have comforts and technologies that would have been impossible just 100 years ago. Even in a global pandemic, we're able to connect like this through online platforms. So definitely around us, externally, we have done a lot of engineering to the outside world. And definitely we're the most comfortable generation ever on this planet. There's no doubt about that. But although we're the most comfortable, we cannot claim to be the most peaceful or joyful or loving generation. Definitely we cannot say that. Definitely not the happiest generation on the planet. So though we have done so much external engineering, still there seems to be something fundamental which is missing. So what is this? If we look at it, everything that we're doing, whether it's trying to make money, build your family, build your career, fulfill your aspirations and ambitions, or you want to go to the temple or even to the bar, why are we doing all of these things? To get what?
Yeah, It's a really interesting one because often we do find in the current world that people are seeking happiness, but they don't actually know the things that make them happy and not necessarily money related, and a lot of things become materialistic. So this within, what you're trying to explain to us, what is this within, become a much larger discussion, doesn't it? Because in your head, you're like, is it a nice car that will make me happy from within, or that will give me happiness? Is it that what is going to give me inner peace? And you are very right. This generation, we are very focused on outside and perfecting everything from the outside. But what about the inside?
Exactly.
What about the actual, your actual self?
See, right now we have so much control over the outside atmosphere, wherever we're sitting, especially I'm right now in India, you're maybe in the UK. We can set just the right temperature that we want around us, right? We have that much control, air conditioning, heating, the body temperature is absolutely perfect. Outside atmosphere, we have total control over. But what's happening within us? The inner climate is messy. And when the inner climate is messy, it doesn't matter if you're sitting in an air-conditioned hall or anything. It doesn't mean anything to you. Even right now, if you earned $1 billion, let's say you earned £1 million, it won't mean anything to you if your inner atmosphere is not good. So essentially, the quality of our life is not decided by what kind of home we live in, what kind of clothes we wear, or what kind of car you're parked outside, but how you are within yourselves right now. That's what determines the quality of our life.
And I really like that phrase, that everything inside is messy,
It's true, isn't it?
It is true. Very true. And
So
it is.
We spend so much time, energy, money in fixing the exterior. But how much time have we spent in fixing the interior? Not much, isn't it, in comparison? Then how do we expect to live well? See, most people are well just by accident. If someone around you is okay, then you're wonderful. But that's not how it should be. Even if you live in hell, there also you can live well. Now that is yours. I don't know nowadays, but it's become very popular these days. People talk about going to the Himalayas or any kind of mountains and becoming peaceful, especially in India. Himalayas is very popular. See, this is no good. If you can be peaceful in a busy marketplace, if you can be peaceful in a place which is full of problems, only then it is yours. Otherwise, it's the mountains, not you, isn't it? You can't take the mountains with you everywhere. So this journey within is very, very important. What we're calling journey within, not just fixing the interior, having control over what's happening within us. Right now, when we say what's happening within us, simple things, our body, mind, emotions, relationships, our energies, none of this is happening the way we want it to happen. And that is what Sadhguru, for those of you who don't know, Sadhguru is the founder of Isha Foundation. He's a yogi, mystic, and visionary. And it is he spent the last 30 years trying to distill the essence of yogic sciences, making it available to the contemporary modern Indian, or actually any human being. So this is what we're looking at, a kind of technology which we can control what's happening within us as well, which is very, very important. Just to give an example of this, maybe we could do a simple experiment. When we talk about our own body, everything is happening accidentally. So we could do a simple experiment. You can place your palms facing downwards on your thighs. And then I'll say this when I just give the instructions, you can just close your eyes and take a few inhalations, exhalations. As you're doing this, I'll say switch. When I say switch, you turn your palms over like this and place it facing upwards. And then again, when I say switch, you turn it back to your original position. In these two positions, I just want you to notice that the way the air fills up in your lungs is very different. The maximum expansion and contraction happens in different areas of the lungs. I just want you to notice this. Okay, let's do this. You can close your eyes and just take a few deep inhalations, exhalations. Switch. Turn your palms over, facing upwards. Continue breathing. switch again. Back to the original position. Okay, you can open your eyes.
Wow.
Are you able to notice some difference?
My observation was my concentration levels were different, but also I found that when I had my palms this way, I wasn't in my breathing was very different. It wasn't as is strong the word. It wasn't as powerful maybe, but when I turned it round, I inhaled better. So I don't know if that is what you're supposed to feel, but that was the,
as long as you're able to notice some difference. See, physiologically what's happening is when your palms are facing downwards, the maximum expansion and contraction happens in the diaphragm region of the chest.
Right.
When you turn it up, it happens higher up in the chest region.
Okay,
so
I felt. So when I was like this, I could feel.
Just try it once. Just take one breath with your palms down, one breath with your palms up, and see if it's noticeable.
Yes, completely. Absolutely.
So you see, just by turning your palm over like this, the very way you breathe is changing. It's not only about your breath. The very way your life energies function are altering themselves because you turn your palm over like this.
It's crazy.
Now, how many times in a day are we doing this in unawareness? Whatever anyone asks, this is a very Indian thing. This hand gesture. I don't want to do this.
No, I don't want to talk. I don't just leave later. Go away. Go away.
So we're setting our energies in turmoil and hoping to be peaceful. Such things really don't happen in the world.
It's really interesting because I when you talk of being in a place of if you're in a busy market and feeling calm, or if you're in the Himalayas and feeling calm, you should be able to feel that inner calmness or that inner peace, regardless of wherever you are. And if you are constantly, messing with your energies, which I think we all do, we are in front of a computer a lot. We don't get fresh air anymore. We in the house, with this pandemic as well, things have changed. We probably don't use our energies the same way, or are misusing our energies, right? So this is really interesting, just hand gestures, changing them around. And I hope everyone that's watching live just tried that. And you haven't, then you should definitely try it again, because that was mind-boggling, just the change of hands. So thank you.
So this is all it is. It's not just about the physical body, everything that we're trying to do, even our mind. We can do another simple experiment just to see how the mind functions. Right now we can try this. Can you hold your right hand here like this? We just demonstrate. You can do this. Yeah. Okay, you can do that. Can you bring it forward?
Yeah.
Okay, can you bring it up? All right, great. So you can do some yoga, right? This much control you have over your body. You can bring your hand here, this you can do, this you can do. But now if I ask you to try this with your mind, if we ask you to bring your mind here and hold it here for some time, it goes there.
Yeah.
No, with your mind, if you try to hold it here, it goes there. If you want to put it here, already you can see where it's going, isn't it? It's going all over the place. This is like you got into a car and you want it to go in this direction, but the car is going in another direction. Would you want to sit in such a vehicle?
No, I wouldn't. And this is the thing, right? We often want to get somewhere really quick. We don't want to sit and say, and we do this at, at weddings, you go to someone's house, you're not present. We forget to be present. We're thinking, oh, what's there going to be for food? Or, what's there going to be for, drinks? Or what's the party
everywhere?
You're not present. You are not present in the moment. So we need to almost understand how to be present, and we don't. So this car explanation you gave us, you wouldn't want to sit in a car that was going at 100 miles an hour and the driver didn't know whether they were going left or right, or they were driving in the wrong side of the road. So how do we...
Even if it was your own car, if it's not going the direction you want it to go, what's the first thing you want to do with the car?
stop it. I would want to stop it.
Stop it, isn't it? Same with the mind. If you can somehow stop this, suddenly you will see the mind is a miracle. It's capable of many incredible things. But unfortunately, right now, the mind has become a source of anxiety for us. Where is the manufacturing unit for all the stress, anger, anxiety, or any other kind of suffering in our life? It's not anywhere in London, isn't it? It's in our mind. So what Sadhguru and Isha Foundation is offering is the flagship program is something called Inner Engineering. So as we have a science to engineer the outside, we have a science to engineer what's happening within us as well. So that is what we are looking at. And that's why it's very, very important to have this, to start on this journey within, because only when we take that step, when we realize, okay, outside we've done everything that we could, but it's still not working, something is missing. Mm-hmm. That's when we have to say, okay, then we have to look inwards.
So, I love the word engineering, because it is engineering. It is changing the way we use our mind, because we use it not necessarily for all the right things. We're currently using them for all the things that are making us anxious, like anxiety is on the rise. So many more people, mm-hmm. children even, suffer from anxiety now, don't they? And all the other yes. Mental health sufferers, because you're constantly pushing for the outward and not the inward. What has your experience been on this journey? And you've been doing this since 2010. Mm-hmm. So, what has your experience been? And tell us a bit about that.
So I did the program, this flagship program, which I talked about, Isha Foundation program, Inner Engineering, in 2010. To be very honest, I wasn't looking for spirituality. I wasn't looking for meditation or anything like this. The only reason I went for the program is because someone around me had done the program, and in them there was such a tremendous change. It was like they had become a completely different person. Mm. So I was a little curious to know what this is about, and so I ended up with the program. That's the first time I heard Sadhguru speak, and I remember sitting there in the program, listening to him and thinking, what this man says seems to be so simple and obvious, but somehow no one has put it like this ever before. It seemed like, how come no one has told me this before? It felt so relatable, the way he was putting it across. And as part of the program, they also taught a 21-minute meditation technique called Shambhavi Mahamudra. And I began to practice that. I'm not a very disciplined person, so I'm very surprised at myself that I managed to keep up the practices. And I could see so much benefit for me. Physically, I felt much more fit. Mentally, I was feeling as if I was able to do much more productive. But the biggest thing for me was the practice gave me a certain emotional stability. Before doing the program, any little thing could set off a huge emotional roller coaster within me. It would take me days to recover. But now with this practice, it gave me a certain sense of balance and grounding. And I realized the more I was then I came for some advanced programs. I had the opportunity to spend more time with Sadhguru in various darshans and satsangs. And I realized that what this man has to offer, what he's saying, is very much the need of the hour. I could see it so much around me. And that's when I said, okay, I really want to be able to offer this to more and more people. And that's how I came as a full-time volunteer to the foundation. Isha Foundation is a completely volunteer-run organization. We have over 9 million volunteers worldwide, part-time, full-time, all put together. And we're all here simply because the practices and what Sadhguru has said have had a huge impact on us. And that's why we're here today. So that has been my journey. It's continuing. It's not that I can say I have attained reached the destination. It's a continuous journey. But at least now I can definitely see that there are moments when I'm within myself. If I just sit with my eyes closed, I can simply be like that. There is nothing unsettled within me. And, the mind is not running at that, what we're talking about, 100 miles an hour, like we're talking. It's able to just settle down. And there's a certain profoundness of life, which I'm able to, in some moments, taste. It could happen, I'm walking in the garden and just look at a flower, and just looking at a flower, it could bring me tears of joy. This is not something which ever happened a few years ago. I would not even have registered that flower maybe a few years ago. But now it's just, and I'm not saying this is happening all the time, but it's a journey. I've definitely taken many more steps in that journey. And my only thing is, okay, before I fall dead, I need to know that, okay, I did whatever I could to ensure that I am living my life to the 100% and exploring this to the fullest. And in that sense, I feel like I'm on the right path for this.
And this is the key, isn't it? Like, it doesn't have to alter your life completely. It could be small steps, and it's not something that will transform you immediately. The change comes about. It is a journey. It is, every little that you do, you keep changing and you keep evolving into the person that you want to become. And the person that, because we get so consumed in our day-to-day lives, we forget the little things, like you just said with the flowers, something very similar happened. I didn't cry, but yesterday I was in my garden outside, and in the outside garden, we have these huge bushes of roses, the different types of roses, and they're in full bloom, and there's reds, yellows, and pinks. And they've been there for the last few weeks. I haven't noticed them. Because I just walk past them every day. But I was on the phone to my mom yesterday, and she goes, "Wow, look at your roses. They look beautiful." And I'm like, "Yeah, they do, don't they?" And I look at them, and looking at them reminded me of my uncle, my kaka, who's passed away, and reminded me of that memory of when we used to visit him, and he used to have beautiful roses in his garden. We weren't allowed to pick them because they were only picked by him for prayers. So you could only pick them for prayers. And it just, like I sat there for a moment, and it took me back to that. And he actually brought me joy to then look at those flowers, because I stopped for a moment. I went, yeah, actually, they are really pretty. They are really beautiful, and I made I said to my little, "Do you want to smell them? Look, they smell really lovely." And it is finding that moment to be present, isn't it? Because that journey evolves, and like you have evolved, you found that you can now be, in a place and be a bit calm and pick up on things and go, actually, I really enjoyed that. Or, and enjoying your company with yourself.
That's most important.
Right?
Actually, I don't know. Sadhguru says, if you're alone and you're miserable, that means you're in bad company. We can blame everyone else. You can blame, husband, wife, boss, friends, everything. But even if you're alone, if you're miserable, that really means you're in bad company. You need to do something about it.
Yeah, that's when the inner engineering needs to start working, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, how does someone start on this journey? Where do they start? Like, what tips can you give them? Because, there are people who'll be watching live going, yeah, I've heard of Isha Foundation, or I've heard of Sadhguru, but if I don't know of them, or if I don't have any associations with that, or if I'm living somewhere where I can't have access, what could they do to start, on this journey?
Sure. So one thing is, as I mentioned, our flagship program, it's called Inner Engineering. So all you need to do is Google innerengineering.com, and you'll find out all the information. And this is an online program, so you can do it at your own pace, in your own space. These are 7 sessions. So that way it's very much accessible. In some ways, thanks to the pandemic, we've also shifted online. So our programs and everything is online. This is innerengineering.com. This is a paid program, and there are 7 steps to this, 7 sessions. We also have various other tools available on the Sadhguru app. We have a mobile app, which if you just look in the Play Store or the iOS store, you can find the app, and it's called Sadhguru, and it has various meditations. We have a simple but powerful meditation technique called Isha Kriya, which is available online, which is available free of cost. It takes 12 minutes. Like this, there are various other free tools as well, free meditation techniques which are available. But if you're really looking to take the journey forward, then Inner Engineering is a good place to start. As I mentioned, it is 7 sessions, and it also, as part of the program, you'll earn a 21-minute very powerful meditation technique called Shambhavi Mahamudra Kriya, which is what I have been practicing now for the last few years, and it's had a tremendous impact. So for me, at least, this is the path which has worked, and I'm really seeing a lot of change in myself, and that's why I'm here. So if there are any questions, either from you or from the audience, I don't know. I think we have just a few minutes to look at some questions as well.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the most important thing is just learning more about this journey, and that, you've been a great help in just helping people understand where they could start, like even if you just sit for 5 minutes with your, like you have your morning cup of tea, just sit and be present for those 5 minutes. And, we become really busy in our lives. We don't take those 5 minutes, just to do some breathing, that hand up, hand down exercise, if you have a garden, just sitting in your garden, listening to the birds, being present in the moment and learning to start accepting the flaws that we have, as well as, like we're not all perfect, but we all have our own journeys to explore and kind of maybe do the inner work to say, okay, what actually brings me true joy and happiness? And I think a lot of us will find what you've just said today very, very, we will resonate with it. We will kind of like actually completely agree with what Arundhati is saying. So thank you very much for coming today and speaking to us about this journey within. And obviously, if anyone wants to find out more, they can find you on Isha Foundation. And as you've been saying about the inner engineering course online.
So one simple thing would be, as you were just talking about, the breath, just being aware of the breath. As you mentioned, like we just did that experiment of just spending a few minutes, just being focused on the breath, what's happening. It can have a tremendous impact. So just morning, evening, even at night before you go to bed, or sometime in the morning when you wake up, just spending a few minutes focusing on the breath. Just naturally, if you focus on the breath, you will notice the way you breathe changes as well. So that itself can be a simple one small step that you can take in starting the journey within.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Arundhati. That has been a really, really great discussion to have with you today. If anyone wants to catch up on this, they can catch up at iglobalnews.com. You can watch, if you've missed the first half, want to catch up, please go to iglobalnews.com. If you want to revisit the session, you can also watch it again on iglobalnews.com. And thank you to Arundhati for giving us her time today. And thank you for being here. And Tony, thank you for being such a fantastic host. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you so much.